So I thought we would start this evening by going around the table and giving each of you a chance to talk about what you see as your priorities and what you think are going to be the major issues that the legislature is going to be discussing. Let's start with Senator Lane. And we'll go around the table.
Okay. Well, actually, there is nothing that we have to do by law, and that's different than the first year when we have to pass a budget. So, but it's usually the bonding year. We have a big bonding bill to tee up here. There's no reason why we can't do it because interest rates are lower than they're going to be later. We might as well get these very, very urgent needs done. And then, but the one that we really should do, we have to do for the sake of the constituents, is the tax conformity bill. We need to do something about conforming or working with our state tax forms as related to what the federal government tax bill did. And that is a huge job. If we decided not to do anything at all, you would be filling out the federal form twice, the one we do now and whatever the new one will be. And you'd have to do the one we do now in order to do our state taxes. So that would be complex. And if we decided to totally conform, then we would actually have many people who would be paying higher taxes. So somewhere in between, we've got to do some conforming and some changing and some working around this, and hence the process is very complicated, and I hope it doesn't get contentious because we already did a tax bill last year. We don't need to do a tax bill. We need to do a tax form bill to make it work for the people and make the form simpler, but also hold people pretty well harmless through it. It's going to be a complex undertaking, and I hope we can get it done. Other issues are just, this gun issue that comes up all the time. We need to address some of this. And there's other issues that sometimes we get focused on certain ones and then new ones pop up. So I'd say that those are the two main ones.
Senator Benson?
I would agree with Senator Lane that tax conformity and reform is the heaviest lift we have to do this year. The Senate is very lucky to have Roger Chamberlain as our tax chair. He is going to champion that cause. He wants a long-term approach that's going to set up Minnesota's economy for extended growth, help us to be outstanding in the region for the way that we welcome businesses and encourage families to grow and stay here. And I think that's going to be the Senate's #1 priority and definitely the heaviest lift. There'll likely be a bonding bill. Again, we did a bonding bill last year. We don't necessarily have to do one this year. And we're looking at a surplus. We think the budget forecast that comes out on February 28th will have a significant surplus, and so there'll have to be some decisions made on how we reprioritize the excess revenue that the state's bringing in. The good news for Minnesotans is that our economy is growing, and that's why we have a surplus. And so thank them for the work that they're doing. Thank the businesses for the significant contribution they're making to the functioning of state government. The other thing, downside, bad news, we need some more oversight over the executive branch. I'm sure your viewers are familiar with the DMV debacle, as it started to be called. MNLARS is failing. We have to figure out how to solve that. Coming right along the heels of MNsure, which was another failed IT project, and then the Office of Health Facilities complaints and the elder abuse situation that's emerging. So we're going to have some pretty serious oversight on technology and basic operations of government.
Representative Moran, your thoughts?
Yeah, so we kind of heard some of the big issues. And let me just share with you, too, that I did share before. I am the Deputy Minority Leader in the House, too, one of the Deputy Minority Leaders. So I agree that tax conformity is going to be one of the biggest probably challenges that we're going to have. When we look at the Trump tax bill, it's a $1.5 billion transfer of what many would say is transfer of wealth from the middle class to the super rich. And so we're going to deal with that because, as Senator Lane stated, that if we conform, it's going to increase taxes for many of working class, middle class people, families right here. But it's something that we need to do or will and can be very burdensome for many. So we're looking at that. My hope is that, we're looking at the legislature budget, so I think we're going to be okay with that. But we also have, hopefully can be a bonding year. One of the things that, two things that I'm interested in focusing on for bonding in St. Paul, we have the River Center, and we have the XL Center, and we have a parking ramp that's crumbling. People come from all across the state of Minnesota to events, school events, matches, and, you know, it's really used a lot by different community entities. And so we want to, my hope is that as a St. Paul legislator, that we always want to think about how we can keep a city vibrant and very competitive, but also can continue to be utilized by people from across the state. And so that parking ramp is a big ticket item that I'm hoping that we can invest in, and not just for Minnesota, but for Minnesotans around the state. And the second thing is I think we really need to address the opiate epidemic, but how that also impact the child protection system. It is really, we have more families, more kids in out-of-home placement coming into the system because of what is happening with opiates, but also has a big impact in the African-American community and the Native American community. So my hope is that we can invest in creating more supports. We have child protection workers who are screaming help. You know, the tenure for a child protection worker right now is 6 months. We have foster parents who are saying, I cannot do this anymore because we're bringing in kids who are traumatized on top of trauma. And we have, so we have that, we have the trauma, and we have a system that says as child protection workers are leaving the field that they need to bring in and train more social workers so that they can be efficient at doing that job, but we lack training dollars to make that happen. So, you know, in the case, in the well-being of all our kids and making sure that we are doing our due diligence to have strong children who are not being re-traumatized by the system that's not working for them, that we will look at how we can support that child welfare system.
Representative Albright, your thoughts?
Well, I certainly agree with, my esteemed colleagues. We're going to have to deal with federal tax conformity. I think it's not just about a form, although I would certainly agree that if we don't do something, we're going to end up all filling out a book. But the significance of that lift, I think, is something that Chair Davids and Senator Chamberlain are going to be working on with a whole myriad of people for the good portion of this session. So I think it's going to take a lot of effort. We talk about bonding. We did a fairly substantial bonding bill last year. That was a holdover from the year before because, no pun intended, it got a little derailed at the very end. So I think there is an opportunity. I think the infrastructure, if you take a look at HEAPR and some of the other needs of our higher education institutions as well as...
HEAPR being keeping buildings up to date.
Yes, yeah, for higher ed.
Ventilation,
yep.
That kind of
higher
stuff.
ed for both our MnSTU system as well as the University of Minnesota. I think there's a lot to be said for really investing in the educational needs of the people that are going to be staying around and providing careers for themselves and for their families. A couple of other things that I think maybe go under the radar a little bit that we're going to have to really address this session. One is the pension reform. If you take a look at our bond rating and what that all entails, I think you have to really take a look at the promises made to all of the folks that are in our pension programs across the state, and nothing has been done for a couple of years that where we have attempted, and it is in need of getting fixed. The number just keeps growing and growing and growing. I share your concerns about the opioid, Representative. I think that this is the year where we need to lead. And lead well for the nation, for the sake of the nation, and not only that, but for the sake of the people in the state of Minnesota. It's corrosive. It really is. And the economic impact or drag that it puts on families, the destructive nature it has on lives, can't be overestimated. And so that is another one. But I also think, there's been a lot about, we are a graying population. And, that being said, elder abuse, how we treat those that are aging, I think we owe them a very serious and bipartisan effort respond to the needs that they have, both in housing, but in care. You touched on it with just the short tenure of people that are taking care of those that are most vulnerable amongst us. I think we need to really look at how we compensate them, but also how we train them for some of the diseases and maladies that affect these people. They're just very complicated, and we need to respond to the needs of those that came before us, that took care of us when we were younger. So that's where my focus is going to be.